Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Sunday the 13th of November 2022. Thanks for joining me. I want to use the Universal Tarot today. Let's see what these cards want you to know about Sunday and what the day is going to look like. So I'm just going to choose 3 cards. First card is the 3 of Wands. Okay, so there's a sense of the future. There's a sense of optimism. You're looking ahead now. You're not looking to the past. So that seems very much about energy and looking ahead. And obviously, if you're making plans for the future, you're kind of thinking, okay, what about today and tomorrow? You've got some momentum going. Next, we've got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So the blessing isn't about your practical circumstances, it's about what you feel internally. So the doorway opens within. And then finally, the 9 of Pentacles is a woman who works very hard and has a wonderful outcome as a result. Okay, so this is interesting because the Ace of Pentacles, when it's upright, is a blessing when it comes to your finances and your job and your environment. That's in reverse, so it's saying ignore that pretty much and look at the gifts you're receiving internally via motivation and passion and clarity. But then the 9 of Pentacles says if you do work, you'll have a really good outcome, and it's about discipline. So the message I'm getting, it's about first looking at what's happening within and turning your back on what you've done in the past or what may be going on in your life. So it's the process of saying, instead of I've mentioned this example before. So I live in a particular city, and I don't know, they have a t-shirt factory, and they make, I don't know, little clay statuettes or something. And also there's a huge accountancy industry. Which one am I going to go for? So that's trying to align yourself based on the circumstances. It's the opposite of these 2 cards. What the cards are saying, instead of taking that approach, say it doesn't matter what industries there are in my cities. I'm turning my back on what is out there. Instead, I'm going to look within and see what I'm passionate about and see where I feel this opportunity within, even if there isn't one in the external world. Because if I get clear on what I want, then I can move. And I can position myself or reposition myself so that I can do these things that I enjoy. And that's what the 9 of Pentacles, I feel, brings in today. This willingness to do the legwork, to say, do you know what, I don't have to be afraid of looking within. There aren't any skeletons waiting to hurt me there. But what may be inside is a real passion that I may not be living right now. And the point of this being, how can I make my life amazing? How can I have a sense of well-being and enthusiasm and excitement when I get up in the morning, right? So I guess that's a question of, do I want to constantly be working on my life? Or do I just want to cruise for a little bit? Do I really want to always be striving towards something? It's a very kind of existential, philosophical day here where you're asking all these big questions. So I think both are true. If you feel like you've been asking the questions for a long time and you just haven't found the right way forward, then taking a break and taking a trip or exploring something new, or just letting it go for the time being and saying, I'm just going to do something frivolous and fun on this day. This card says to me that kind of thing is almost like a spiritual practice, because by getting rid of the burdens or your worries and all the things you're trying to figure out and doing something fun instead, it's like a reprieve. And it's during that reprieve that something opens up and the fire is kind of revealed, and that's how you understand what makes you happy and what really motivates you. Not by hammering yourself with analysis and saying, okay, you got to figure it out. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I think fundamentally you feel optimistic and you feel like the past doesn't define my future, and I feel strong in myself. I mean, I think that's a requirement. If change, even though it can be really good and amazing, it takes a lot of energy and can be exhausting. So the underlying thing here is that he feels strong enough to look out to the horizon and put on his little cowboy hat and to say, okay, where am I going to go that's going to make me happy and emotionally fulfilled? So I think fundamentally, just in the moment doing something that makes you feel good, whether it's eating a donut or, you know, taking a little boat ride on the lake. That's the key to activate all this momentum. Then it kind of sucks you in and you're able to ignore your circumstances, your past, your current living situation, your current job, and you find this opening within. So I currently work at the post office. I don't like it. I haven't had any training in design, but it's my passion. I really love clothes, for example. So what am I going to do to get out of the post office and make my own line? And that seems like a big deal when you're doing it for yourself. Like you have no experience with actual designing or production or distribution. It's like, oh my God, this is such a big thing. How am I going to do it? But for someone in the fashion industry, that seems like a normal thought process. And that's going to be the thought process of a lot of people who are in the fabric or clothing industry. They didn't like what they were doing. They then took those changes and are now doing their dream job. And that's where the Nine of Pentacles is amazing, because that's exactly her process. She's beautifully dressed. She's surrounded by beautiful gardens. Usually it costs a bit of money to buy acres and acres of land. She's got vines, grapes growing on the vines. So the physical reality is just fabulous. You can make her own grape juice and then go walking in the park. She's training her little falcon there. So it is about hard work and discipline, but the hard work and discipline paying off. So you work hard for your money, and then you're able to invest that money into a nice property that brings you joy. But that property in itself is also a lot of work, you know. You have to pay for the upkeep. When there's lightning, you have to replace the roof. It's more work. So it's interesting because the Nine of Pentacles to me in some ways is kind of a bit of an interesting statement that all life is work. And anything good is going to require some effort. Even this falcon sitting on her wrist, that had to be trained, and it has to have a hood on its eyes. So it doesn't, you know, I don't know. Forget its training? I'm not sure. So she gets that, and she's okay with working hard. Slow wins the race. We've got the little snail here at the front. So she's consistent. And all this is a difficult process. You know, like if I go on a little boat ride for the day and I'm looking at the clouds and it's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have my own, you know, like grape juice business? Most of us, by the time we get the boat back to shore and we're going to eat ice cream or whatever, that thought is gone. It's like, oh, that was a nice thought. It sounds great, but it's very impractical. I'm not going to do that. I have to go to work on Monday anyway. With the Nine of Pentacles being here, she's going to give you the chutzpah, the steeliness to say, actually, this is a fabulous idea. Doesn't exist in my life just yet, but it represents an inner opening, something, a path I'd like to tread. So why not try it? I work at everything else anyway. I have to upkeep my house, and I'm working at this day job, and then I have to be nice to my relatives, and you know, like I work at everything else. So why not just work at something which I would actually enjoy and would bring some sweetness into my life? How about that? Also, these two would make a great couple, I think. He's got great calves. She's beautiful. Anyway, I'm talking rubbish now. But so all this hard work and investing in your future and dreaming that things could get better actually could bring about a completely unexpected surprise in the shape and form of a relationship, or at least someone showing up in your life who can help you get to where you want to go. But it's fundamentally by not expecting anything from your existing life, from your existing circumstances, but asking yourself, how can I generate new circumstances for myself through hard work? That's what's going to really work. So you can get a totally great grip on your future and what you want to do next. So if you feel a little bit lost at the moment at sea, this is, or you've lost the plot a bit, this is the greatest day to get it back and to really make an amazing plan, which is going to pay off. Because this woman, she's, you know, in beautiful environment, she seems calm, falcon sitting there and stuff. But if she does work and she doesn't hear ka-ching at the end of it, you know, there are problems. She's got all this money for a reason. She's not a pushover. So you have that strength and that enthusiasm. So what adventure do you want to go on next is a good question. Number-wise, we've got 3 and 1 is 4. 4 and 9 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4. And that's 2 4s then, 44. 4 in itself is structure and security. It's the Emperor in the Tarot. He says what goes and then he does it. And that's exactly this. So I'm the boss and I'm going to do the legwork to ensure that is a real thing. And then 44 is listening to your higher self, divine guidance, and doing the legwork and putting it into practice. So you've got the right idea. The ideas and the passions are there for a reason. You can trust them. They will pay off. So don't be afraid to take a risk or to take action. It's going to work in your favor. It's very unlikely that you make a misstep today, really. So wherever you end up, look at your environment, your surroundings. They may be significant and may signal that they want to be part of your future. You know, so if your girlfriend takes you to a vineyard for the day for a wine tasting, and the guy who works there talks to you about a potential collaboration with your brand and the wine or something, please consider that. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. In my personal readings, I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology. And I combine all three. If you have any questions about where to live, or life purpose, or career, or family, or what's coming up in future, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.